slow. Just tell me what we have before us. We'll go through the items, and then we'll come back.
Okay, there are 7 items before the committee this morning.
We have 2 appointees right here, but I want to hold those so my colleagues can come. Okay? New appointees to commission? Have any new commissioners here? Great. And that's you, Ari? Good to see you, Mr. Ruiz. Okay, and then we have an ordinance on the use of unrestricted general funds that we'll review. We'll have acceptance of a donation. Is anyone here for that item? We'll hold that. 4, relatively acquiring the property. Is anyone here for that?
Yes, Mike Schultz.
Mike Scholl. Mike, come on up right now. We'll get you in and out of here if this is all you got. Call the meeting to order, and let's take item 4.
All right, item number 4 is a motion, Labange Garcetti, relative to the feasibility of acquiring property at 1735 La Brea Avenue to provide off-street parking for Runyon Canyon.
Good morning, Mr. Mike Scholl, Director of Planning for the Department of Recreation and Parks. You familiar with this at all?
Yes, I am. Good morning. I had the Bureau of Engineering go out and take a look at the site and see what it would take to put a parking lot in the area, and they did get back to me. The lot they believe would hold approximately 35 spaces. Issues as they raised, and we agree, is exiting onto La Brea, getting in and out of the parking lot could be a problem if that lot was used for such a use, and also we would have no control over, because it is about a half a mile from the park, we wouldn't have any control over who parked there, so it would be hard for us to monitor, because parking is such an issue in that area. There are Quimby funds available. We don't have an appraisal on the lot, but there is some money, some funds available that could be used to purchase that property for park purposes.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the other aspect of Runyon Canyon and the challenge of trying to get parking in that location?
Yeah, we are. Very much so. I mean, I know it's been a struggle up there with the parking. I would like to, in discussions with staff, I mean, we had some other ideas of possible alternative sites that we might be able to look at with your office, before we...
Sure, why don't you tell me now, because we're just waiting for my colleagues.
Okay, well, one of the sites where you actually have, see, what we've noticed is actually what happens is that people are parking, and I forget the name of the street, but it's near...
Vista?
No, it's over by Waddles Mansion. So essentially, they're walking across the Waddles Mansion property and out the bottom gate.
Oh, Curzon.
That's it. And we have a staff, that's now occupying, the Waddles Mansion, and have been getting regular, they use that as a walkthrough, which is not a problem. It's just that's something we've noticed. There is an area at Waddles Mansion that is used for parking for special events.
On the east side.
Yes.
Right.
That we wouldn't have to purchase it. We own it. It's closer to Runyon Canyon.
Right.
We could actually monitor it because we have staff at Waddles Mansion.
How
now.
many spaces do you think?
I believe it would hold more than 35. We didn't do a layout. It needs to be improved anyway as we look at the long-term plan for Waddles, for special events and so on and so forth. But
Right.
We believe that's a better alternative.
Right. All right. Now, go from Waddles and go down to Beverly and Pan Pacific Park. You know where Pan Pacific Park is?
Yes.
You know the driveway in there? It's like mid-block.
Yeah.
No signalization, doesn't match the
Right.
street. Then to the west, you have a post office.
Yes.
See, I had this vision of trying to create an exit there so our patrons of Pan Pacific could use a signal on the way out. You would have a shared driveway. Have you ever heard of something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking on the lot on La Brea, between the women's club and the old building there could be a shared driveway somehow, some way of that. So why don't we do 2 things? Why don't we move forward with investigating the property on La Brea so we don't lose time, but also look at Curzon. Even if we did both, it would be a way. And the only way I would say to enforce it is the Santa Monica Mountains has parking in, what's the canyon up, Laurel Canyon?
Runyon?
No. We're talking about Runyon. Let's see. Fryman. You said Franklin, I said Fryman. She said Runyon.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. Fryman Canyon, they have their rangers pull through, and you have to have a sticker on your windshield, to be a friend of Fryman or something to park there. Maybe that's the way to go, because I think people who would know that there's a space there, they may use it, and this would alleviate our chance to try to build something in the mouth of the canyon. And at the same time, because I'm worried about the Fuller entrance, because I know it's narrow, and if we touch that side hill, it may be $1 million wall plus.
Right.
So let's look at both, and we'll set it forward. Where would we send this forward to right now?
The item's also been referred to the Budget and Finance.
Why is it referred to budget? Is that city policy, or is this, what's the deal on that?
This referral was processed at the
By
council meeting.
CLA, but is that a procedure now, or we know?
I can check with our office.
Yeah, check, because if we have the money for it, I'd like to buy the land. So, all right, how's everything else?
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge, but should we move the Bureau of Engineering back to Recreation Department?
I wouldn't, I'd rather not comment on that, Councilman.
I know. You ever see the movie All the President's Men?
I'm not sure.
The concept was that if they didn't answer the question, it meant yes. Is that right?
You're gonna get me in
That-
trouble.
Yeah, that's that under President Nixon, the person who gave all the information never answered it. So you did a good job, Mr. Scholl. I want a motion to transfer that back. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Do you have anything else on this agenda today?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so we'll move forward with this. We'll be in touch. Mr. Minsman, if you escort Mr. Scholl out, you give him the 411 and see what we need to do. Set a time up. We can meet up at Kirsten and then kind of have an action plan. If we do both, that's a way to go for that.
And I would say, as far as the lot of up at Waddles, working with your staff, we already have appropriated funds for Waddles Mansion for improvements there, so we could fold. I mean, you have already appropriated funds there, so
Right.
I don't know if it's enough, but we could get started.
Good. Why don't we do some preliminary investigation on this and continue this item in this committee for 30 days? Okay. That's item number 4. Item number 5.
Item number 5 is a report from the LA for Kids Steering Committee.
Let's hold on to 5 because I hope Mr. Reyes could join us a little later on. I want him to be here for that. Item number 6 is improvement in CD3. We're joined by 2 great councilmen. From the 10th district, the great Herb Weston, and for the 1st, Mr. Ed Reyes. So it's good to see both gentlemen here. We were starting slow, like Tina Turner and Proud Mary, and now we got a full committee here.
That's me.
Yeah, good, you got it right there. Let's go back to item 1, Madam Clerk. Good morning, gentlemen.
Certainly. Item number 1 is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Mr. Ari Ruiz to the Commission for Children, Youth, and Their Families.
Great. And members, this is a dynamic young man who's dedicated to serving the city of Los Angeles and appointing Mr. Villaraigosa. Mr. Ruiz, tell us your passion.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Ari Ruiz, and one of my passions, I met with Mr. Councilmember Tom Labange, and one of my passions is education. I was part of the a grassroots movement towards education reform back in 2006 when we were passing the A through G resolution, meaning that all high school students will have the opportunity to go on to college after high school. So when looking at the numbers of dropout rates of LAUSD, it was 50%. So I was really never involved in politics until then. So one of my passions is making sure that all students are able to graduate from high school and go on to a 4-year university. And I continue to do the work until now. And I am very humbled and honored that Mayor Villaraigosa has nominated me to the commission, where I hope to be of service and answer some of the problems our communities have.
Great. Members, any questions?
Yeah, when, as a commissioner, let's say a year or 2 years from now, you turn around, you look back, what would you like to see as far as impact that you would like to make? Like, understanding what the commission does and influence it has. Name a couple of things that you would like to see, like, wow, I was part of that, or we made that happen? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, currently right now I serve as the public chair for my neighborhood council. So one of the other issues that it really is dear to my heart is safer neighborhoods. And I know that the commission has a program called Safe the Kids program, where they have a program at LAUS, some of the school districts and schools to help to have parents volunteer for, getting kids to cross the street safely. So looking back, I would like to have most of that program implemented if there is funding available and the economy gets better in all of our schools to make sure that our kids are safe.
Just one thing as food for thought, Department of Transportation, they have the safe routes. And there's maps available that speak to the most dangerous intersections. So maybe that's a start in how you influence the safe routes passages, is knowing where these maps are at and understanding these safe thoroughfares. And maybe suggest to DOT where the crossing guards should be. And there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of resources that are before you. It's a matter of how you connect the dots. So good luck to you, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm stuck. No question, but I do want to say that it's always refreshing to see young people that are involved and engaged. And then when I look at you, you don't even look old enough to drive, okay? So if we had a couple of, maybe another 500,000 like you, we could really do some positive things in the city. So I wish you well. And I agree with the mayor. I think that you're a fine appointment, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also, Mr. Reyes was on Mayor Bradley's Youth Council. I was on Mayor Bradley's Youth Council. Wendy Grew was on Mayor Bradley's Youth Council. And if Mr. Weston was here when he was a youth, he would have been on it too.
Yeah, I would have been, but you're right. I was in Ohio.
In Ohio. Good.
Yes.
Good luck to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for helping.
Thank you. Item number 2.
Item number 2 is a report from the city attorney and an ordinance relative to amending the LA Administrative Code to expand the uses for expenditures from the Cultural Affairs Department, Council Civic Fund.
Good morning. Basha Jankowski from the City Attorney's Office. We've prepared an ordinance which expands the expenditures currently approved in the admin code for catering and equipment rentals incurred in direct support of arts and cultural events.
Representative of the department?
Yes, Saul Romo for the Department of Cultural Affairs. As the committee may be aware, this is a result of a motion that was put forward by, Councilmember Greg Smith, in which we wanted to expand the possible uses of the Council Civic Fund to support some ancillary functions for art-related events. Specifically, we're looking at expanding the use to include catering services and some equipment rentals.
And give us a specific out there of an event that we would...
Well, here's an example. Let's say if you have a summer film series and you want to have some food available for the crowd. If you have an art opening, let's say on the Bridge Gallery, and you want to have some catering there for the crowd that participates. If you have, let's say, a summer concert series and you want to have some food available for the people who will be participating in your outdoor summer concerts. The idea being that you will probably draw a bigger crowd if you provide some refreshments and some light.
Previously, we weren't allowed to spend civic funds for that.
Correct.
Right, okay, good. Members?
Mr. Chair, I'll just say this. For the past 2 years, I've done a series of movies in the park, and we've had to pay for, we give hot dogs, and
Right.
And we've had phenomenal crowds. And I would think that this would be an excellent move because it gives us more flexibility. I can think of several other ways in which my office could personally use this, and it would help promote the park. I mean, not the park's cultural affairs, cultural events. The key is to try to get people to attend, and anything that would help us do that, I think is a good thing.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes?
You know, as dramatic as this may sound, the level of hunger is very real out there. And when we have events and we have food, it gets pretty packed and crowded and get long lines. And so it's probably a sad statement to make, but this will give us that much more flexibility to address the needs of our communities, especially those areas that have these types of hardships. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Recommend approval. Go forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Item number 3 is a motion, Laban Chan, relative to acceptance of a donation by the Odette Wright Trust to the Thanksgiving Holiday Meal Drive.
No one here is to that. Let's see the specific. How much is the donation for? 354? 351,500. It will be used citywide. It will be used citywide. There's no representative. If we do have questions, we'll ask Aging Being Council on this accept of the donation. We also, Madam Clerk, know who to thank for this donation?
The Odette P. Wright Trust.
Good, and we'll make sure we have all that addressed so we could, council could jointly send them a thank you. Any questions, members? So ordered. Item number 4, I took it slow. We're going to hold this in committee. There's a parcel possibly available for parking that would preclude building parking in the park in the vicinity of Runyon Canyon and the Hollywood Hills. Very popular park. It will come back to us. Any questions?
No,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, you're on a roll.
All right, item 5.
I'm impressed.
All right, item 5. In the great First District at Old East Lake Park.
And item 5 is a report from the LA for Kids Steering Committee relative to a contract amendment with Plaza de la Raza for lighting upgrades at its Lincoln Park facility.
Good morning, council members. Bernice Hollins, Office of the CAO. The LA for Kids Steering Committee is recommending in favor of a 12-month extension with our contract for Plaza de la Raza. The agency was awarded $500,000 in 2006-07 for a project that would complete electrical upgrades at its Lincoln Heights Parks facility. There is no impact on the general fund as a result of this action.
So say thank you for your hard work. Plaza Raza is a long-time historic park, first boundaries of the city, and Plaza La Raza does a lot of great work since the 60s and 70s, so thank you for your report and flexibility.
Thank you. Mr. Weston will go forth as soon as possible to council.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item number 6 is another report from the LA for Kids Steering Committee relative to a contract amendment with the LAUSD for field improvements, fencing, and landscaping at Cleveland Senior High School.
Bernice Hollins, this is another term extension for 9 months that the steering committee is recommending in favor of. The project is with LAUSD, the Cleveland Senior High School facility, and the basis of the amendment is to accommodate a modified design. Again, there's no impact to the general fund.
Very good. So we recommend approval.
Yes.
This is in the 3rd District, Cleveland High School, named after Grover Cleveland, which there's a great movie made after him. I think Grover Cleveland was from Ohio, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, we
There
got
was
to
a
find
movie
that.
about it?
Yeah, he was a baseball pitcher. Grover Cleveland, Alexander. Thank you very much for your.
Oh, Jimmy, who played it?
Not Jimmy Stewart. It was.
the president?
It wasn't Gregory Peck. We'll find out by the time council comes. I got stumped on that one. Any questions?
Ronald Reagan.
We'll go for Ronald Reagan. Who said
That's
Ronald
what I
Reagan?
said, the
Did you say Ronald
president.
Reagan?
It wasn't
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan?
It was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one that's great. He could play baseball and football, you know? Okay, well, so ordered. Next item.
You're old, Mr. Chair, I think Mr. Reyes is older than I thought. You and I remember, and I believe.
That's it. Okay.
And
Next
item number 7 is the 3rd report from the LA for Kids Steering Committee relative to a contract amendment with People Who Care for the development of their youth center.
Bernice Hollins, this is a 13-month term extension. This project is actually completed. The term extension would allow for closeout activities. And again, there's no impact on the general fund.
Great. Okay, any questions? Move forward.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, any other items before us?
That completes all the items.
Okay, so with, this committee is now adjourned. I thank Mr. Weston, I thank Mr. Reyes and staff for this. We move forward.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, LaBonge, then what picture did Jimmy Stewart play? And he had a hunting accident in the movie. And wasn't that based on a real?
I posted my wife after the Bride of the Yankees, Gary Cooper. That was Lou Gehrig.
No, he played something. He was a great pitcher, then it was a